I never got to go to shows. I was too young. As before, I never really got to go to any concerts, any of that kind of shit, because my parents were super, at the time, super Christians, and I wasn't allowed to do that kind of stuff or stuff like that. So I was in the, listening to those records that I hid in the middle of the night when my parents were sleeping. I had the headphones on. I was totally into the stuff. So the shit was crazy, and all the drummers and 15 guitar players and all this shit on stage, and it was just dark. It wasn't all lit up crazy or anything. It was just like, what the fuck is this? This is some sick shit. And he'd have his big hat on. You couldn't really see his face. All you saw was a beard and the long black hair. And you're like, who is this fucking crazy motherfucker right here? I really loved that scene. I loved Skinny Puppy, and I loved Ogre stuff, and that whole Chicago Wax Tracks, that whole scene, all those bands that came out, Second TV, fucking Pigface, all those bands. I don't think any of them were around if it wasn't for Ministry and the Skinny Puppy and those bands that really started that shit out. No, I mean, you talk to like maybe Limp Bizkit that did Thieves. They covered that, they do that shit live. And what pissed me off more than anything in the world about that fucking Limp Bizkit fans thought that Limp Bizkit did that. I wanted to punch people in the fucking face because of that. I wanted to punch Fred in the fucking face because they did that and kids thought it was a fucking Limp Bizkit song. It's so fucking disrespectful. I was fucking pissed when kids were like, will you play that? The Limp Bizkit song things. I was like, oh, it made my blood fucking boil. After their show, I ended up hanging out at, God, sorry my brain's fucked from all the drugs I did over the years. Timothy Leary's house. Fucking trippiest night of my life, because I'm sitting there and I'm at Timothy Leary's house cutting cheese with him for hors d'oeuvres, talking about, I don't know, God knows what. But in his fucking house, there was a room full of musicians. There's a room full of fucking artists watching Akira, the Japanese, at that time, that just came out. So it's all these artists, musicians, like fucking another room full of like just writers and poets. I was like in the middle, and it's just Korn just started, and we hadn't even signed, and I was around all these, like around Helmet, and those guys were heroes to me, Jesus Lizard, and fucking Therapy, and all this crazy shit, and I just remember just like, holy shit, this is what it's all about. I'm at fucking Timothy Leary's house. Holy Jesus shit Christ. I'm with the Helmet and the Jesus Lizard and Therapy, and those were all my, I love those bands, and I'm talking to all these, this is like out of a fucking the Doors movie or some shit, you know. It was like what my rock and roll fantasy was all about. Something like a super amazing night I'll always remember the rest of my life.